Hi, everybody. I'm Haley.
And I'm Kaylee.
And today we're talking about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Such a sad movie.
It really is. That's all I can really say about it. It was just, like they were going through their grief about like a character, but also like the actual person. So I was like, damn, this is really sad.
It was a lot.
And then that end scene.
Spoiler alert.
Already. I'm sorry.
I'm like, damn, we're not even 2 minutes in.
I know. It's been a while since we've been here too. So hopefully y'all enjoyed our Halloween content. And hopefully you were satisfied with the one trope video.
Yeah, that part's not coming out. Technology is not on our side ever.
It was spooky. Yeah. It was too spooky. The computer decided to shut
too
it
good
down.
for everybody.
But yeah, speaking of too good for everybody, I guess I'll get into the synopsis, even though that has nothing to do with it.
I was like, that's not the vibe I got from this film.
No, but my synopsis, I feel like it's kind of ass. It's been a while since we've been here, guys. I'm sorry, but
don't be so fucking dramatic.
We'll
we haven't had hiatuses before.
But okay. Anyways, here we go. Ready? Black Conda.
That's not funny, bro. Not Wakanda. Oh my god.
I skipped the whole word.
You're so flustered.
Oh, see, I told you I'm stressed.
Stay tuned for the third movie.
Wakanda.
That's right. Okay.
Black Panther, Wakanda Forever follows Shuri after the death of her brother, King T'Challa. As Wakanda grieves the loss of the Black Panther, the outside world continues to move forward. Before T'Challa's passing, promises were made to the rest of the world regarding Wakanda's participation and resources. When those promises aren't kept, the rest of the world begins to search for the elusive mineral, vibranium. Success seems to be found in the middle of the Atlantic when scientists detect a stream of vibranium on the ocean floor. However, a group of sea sirens emerge from the depths, leaving no survivors. When this tragic massacre is blamed on the Wakandans, tension between the U.S. and Wakanda begins to brew. Between this and the grief, Shuri is on the brink of burning down the world. That's when a mysterious sea god, Namor, gives Shuri the opportunity to do just that.
Very well.
Very well.
Very well written.
Very well.
That's what I would say. Okay, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Released in 2022. It's an action-adventure drama. And the director is Ryan Coogler. Let's get into the ratings. IMDb gave it a 7.3 out of 10.
Okay.
And Rotten Tomatoes, the critics gave it an 84%, and the audience gave it a 95% rating. That is pretty high. The highest we've seen in a while.
I feel like it makes sense, though. I feel like the fans would really enjoy this kind of movie.
The fans would. And it came in at $181 million at the box office during its opening week. So it's up there. They said something about what level or what rank it was in the opening amounts.
Oh, like
there we go. Yeah, I couldn't think of the name. It's clearly late. I'm sorry. It's Friday. My brain's not here. So yeah, a lot. It's a lot of money.
Right. Yeah, it sure is.
All right, we're getting into the cast. Okay, Letitia Wright plays Shuri. Lupita Nyong'o plays Nakia. Oh my god. Nakia. Sorry. Denai Guerra plays Okoye. Winston Duke plays M'Baku. Angela Bassett plays Ramonda. Tenoch Huerta plays Namor. Martin Freeman is Everett Ross. Dominique Thorne is Riri. Florence Kasumba is Ao. Michaela Coel is Aneka. Alex Liviani is Atuma. And Mabel Cadena is Namora.
Nah, these names are hard.
Okay, I was like, I'm really trying. I'm sorry. And I get nervous too. So, because I practiced earlier and I even wrote the phonetic spelling and I'm like, oh my gosh, don't mess up. So I apologize if I did.
We started off with Wakanda.
I'm sorry.
Or what was it? Wakanda?
No, she ruined it for everybody.
So we're all right.
Okay. And I'm putting him in there. Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa.
R.I.P. for real.
Okay, so we're getting into some of the facts about the movie or just extra background information. So the reason why they did not recast Chadwick Boseman's character T'Challa.
Is it Bosman or Boseman?
Boseman? I thought it was Boseman. Is it Boseman?
I thought it was Bose.
We can look it up.
Let's look it up.
Welcome, Chadwick Boseman.
Was that wrong?
Yeah.
I don't remember what I said. Okay.
Bosman.
Sorry. Chadwick Boseman. I said
no,
Boseman.
Boseman.
Oh, no. Golly.
You said Bosman.
Wait, Chadwick Boseman. I'm so sorry. Chadwick Boseman. I apologize. Okay, so they did not recast Chadwick Boseman's character because they felt it was too soon and the emotions were still there. So they did not. So I guess if they remade it years and years later, there might be a potential for them to recast. But
I can see that.
It was just a little too soon, and I agree. I mean, it was... when was the first movie released? I think 2018. Yes, introduced in 2016, and then 2018 was when the first one came out. So then the second one was 4 years later.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I have to count that. That was really embarrassing. Yeah, not good. And that was from a CNBC article. This is why Marvel didn't recast Chadwick Boseman's character. So that was just kind of, I think, a big thing that everybody's kind of wondering. Kind of continuing from that in a BuzzFeed article. I think it's just facts about the Black Panther movie. So originally when Chadwick was going to be in this film before he passed, he was originally going to come back, and it was still going to be about grief. It was going to be about him mourning the loss of time that he missed out on when he disappeared. So it was kind of going to be something similar because, obviously losing that amount of time and then coming back, and people are living different lives, people have moved on, this and that. So that was going to kind of be a point of struggle for him in the movie. So what they said. So it kind of was along the same lines because this movie was very heavily about grief. So I think that they still kind of kept true to the theme that they were kind of looking for.
That was something I was wondering too, like what it would have been like if Chadwick hadn't passed away. So, but it seems like it would have been, who would have been the bad guy? Would it still have been? I think they still would have been.
I think you could still do that for sure. And speaking of Namor, we can get into his background a little bit because I was curious as to how this character is kind of in the comics versus now. So Namor is an actual, I wouldn't say villain. So what is it, antagonist? Not really a hero, but not a villain necessarily. Kind of like in this film. But this character was introduced in 1939, like in the original comics. So he's an older character for sure. He's the son of a human man and Princess Atlantis. So it's kind of like a little bit different Aquaman version of, so not DC, but Marvel. So still he's Atlantean. He's like half human, half Atlantean.
I guess so.
Yes.
It's not a real place. It don't matter.
So he's the king of Atlantis, basically.
Okay.
But he is white, from what I'm gathering.
In the original
comics. In the original. Okay. I mean, I don't know what the Atlantean people are, but
we're assuming that they're white.
We're assuming they're white, or his dad. The name of his dad was like Mackenzie. His dad's white for sure, but it wasn't the indigenous background as the movie is.
Right.
But I think he is featured in Fantastic Four in the comics as well as Black Panther. So he is kind of like in the comics with Black Panther. They kind of go back and forth a little bit, like because they're both kind of princes of like I don't know how to explain it.
Who are we talking about?
Both of them. Sorry, I'm talking about Black Panther. Like in the comics, they kind of butt heads a lot, and then but they have like a respect for each other. It's because they're both princes of really not ancient, but very old tradition places on Earth. So they have more respect. Yeah, how do you say that? Yeah, they're like very secluded. They're very old places on Earth. They're like origins of places. So they kind of are each other, not rivals. I don't even know how you want to say it, but because they have similar backgrounds, they don't really get along, but they have a respect for each other because they're the OGs of the Earth, basically. Because all the other super people, they're just like new. These are the OGs. Like their families have been there for like, I don't know, thousands of years. That's what I was getting from that.
I don't have any background in superhero knowledge, so.
Look, I was reading away. And his catchphrase, Namor's catchphrase is Imperious Rex. In the comics, I think he says it a lot, but he said it at the end of the movie. If you remember that, he kind of faintly said it. So I think that was an ode to the comic book character.
Wait, so his name, though, in the comics is Namor?
Yes.
But what does that mean?
It's just cool.
Oh, okay. Because like with this one had a meaning because it was like in Spanish and it was like the child without love. So that's why he shortened it to Namor.
But no, he was not indigenous in this. But they made him indigenous because, I don't think it was solely because of this, but they also said there's Aquaman that's already out there. And so they didn't want to do too much the same of like Atlantis and like that kind of stuff. Okay. So they kind of wanted to make Namor a little bit more unique and a different character because it does make sense. They're both like kings of Atlantis in a sense. So they're trying to make it a little bit different. I like it, the change, because to me it makes sense. If you're going to have an ancient water world, like why would it not be an ancient, like some kind of civilization that's from a while ago, like the indigenous or
and especially
wherever
like
you decide to put them,
where they
they're
had to
in the
get
ocean.
pushed out too.
Exactly.
So
like it makes sense.
yeah.
Like why they would go into the water and like what happened. So I liked it. And I liked how it was like two old cultures kind of coming together. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I thought that was just interesting. None of those guns and boring things. Like it was like they had actual powers and like cool weapons and stuff. I liked it. I thought it was cool. And then so some other kind of just random fun facts. Lupita trained by swimming underwater with weights because she's better than everybody. Could you imagine being underwater with weights?
No, because I can't really swim anyways, so
No,
I would drown.
no. And I think a couple of them like they had to train to swim and like all that stuff. And then I think I read something where their clothes were specially made like to be underwater, but they had to keep like replacing them the whole time. They had to make them out of like silicone, and I think they had to even put weights on some of the clothes to like keep them from like make them a little weighted so they're not like floating everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that was
Awful.
a lot to film, but goodness. And then one of the last things is they made Shuri the main character, as she was the one most affected by T'Challa's passing, so they kind of pointed it to her, but it makes sense because she's also next in line.
Yeah.
So she's kind of she's got to be the one to potentially be the next Black Panther, which she does end up doing. So I thought that was really cool. But that's just kind of been. I'm sorry that was all over the place, but
hey,
we're here.
So was this
we're
movie.
trying. Yeah.
No, it wasn't that bad.
But yeah, I guess we can get into our overall thoughts. Or how did you feel about this movie? You say you don't have a lot. I don't have a lot, but I think I have more than you for sure.
To me, this felt more like a tribute to Chadwick Boseman and him being the Black Panther than it did as like the next installment in the MCU. Like it just felt kind of like we didn't go anywhere with some of these points that were brought up. So like the tension that I mentioned between the US and Wakanda, nothing ever happened with that.
I'm not sure what that, I was going to say that.
Yeah.
I didn't know why that was ever there unless
it's going to lead up to
something. The agent guy is going to have something's going to happen with him, maybe.
I don't know. I thought it was just kind of weird that they brought it up, and then like the only conclusion we have in that movie is with him being arrested and like them saving him at the end. So it was kind of weird with that. It was just very like secluded in the grief of it all, which is fine. But I feel like it wasn't like what I was expecting for a Black Panther movie, which is probably what they were not expecting for a Black Panther movie either. So it's kind of hard because I feel like I'm battling this like, okay, I know where some of these things were coming from, but like I didn't really love this movie as much as I thought I would, which kind of sucks because I really did enjoy Black Panther. And so I was expecting something a little bit more with the punch with this one, but I feel like MCU has been letting me down this whole year. I don't know. Doctor Strange, Boo Boo, Spider-Man No Way Home, man, this one was also man. So I just felt kind of like let down, I guess, with the storyline and where it ended up going. And then Namor's character, couldn't take him serious. All these underwater people, I know it's kind of hard to make like underwater people not look weird, but when y'all start incorporating whales,
You like the whales?
I couldn't take it serious. Every time they were just hanging off this big ass whale. I couldn't. So I feel like that kind of took me out a few times. I couldn't just take it serious, and I couldn't see them as a threat because they were just like rip off of Avatar looking kind of people. So yeah, I don't know. I was just a little disappointed with this movie. It wasn't a terrible movie, but it just wasn't what I wanted as a Black Panther installment. But yes, what did you think about this movie, Haley?
I agree. Not my favorite. I do think they did a nice job of kind of giving the ode to T'Challa for sure, or Chadwick Boseman's character. I will say that, and it did make me feel a lot of emotions, and I was
Definitely
tearing up. I was very emotional throughout this movie. So yeah, I saw something. It was like, if you're dealing with grief, don't see this movie. I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yes. I will say I like the direction they were going. I do like how you now are focusing on the sister's character and how she's navigating grief and how she turns it into something in the end of where it's more of a motivation for her to push forward rather than to just, sit in her rage. Like I do enjoy that part of the movie. I thought that was a good way to go. I will say the movie overall, it just was missing some things for me personally. I think in general, Marvel has started to get really unrealistic. And hear me out, because every time I say this, people go, well, it's not a realistic movie. These are superheroes,
right,
blah, 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 blah. But at some point, it can, to me, get a little like ridiculous, even for the film itself. And so some things take me out of it a little bit. Like when the genius girl.
Oh, the scientist.
Yeah, the scientist girl. I should probably get her name. So Riri, like I get she's a super genius.
Oh, when they said she started building machines at 3.
Okay, yeah, building machines at 3. Like, I get she's a genius, but like, my first machine was when I was 3 years old. I was like, wait, what? That actually doesn't make sense. Like, maybe 5.
Yeah.
But 3? I mean, okay. I'm like, okay. And then she like put together the suit and then flew it perfectly. Like, she's like, oh, I just put this thing together. And then now she's Iron Man. Like, even in the Iron Man movie, he was very smart. He went some tests and trials. Like, the whole movie was him working this machine. And then hers is just like, I mean, unless she's that genius, like, okay, if we're going to do that here. But it was almost like she was genius to the point where it was only just convenience to the plot.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like she was actually genius that it pushed her character forward and like we were really getting it out of her. I feel like they made her that genius because they just needed another person with a suit. So now she has a suit, and now we have a cool scene where you have somebody on a bike, the motorcycle, somebody in the car, and somebody in the suit, and she's flying around. Because I was like, what? So that took me out of it a little bit. And then like, even if she started doing that at the end, it'd be fine. But like, her immediately having this suit that works that she never tried before, but she can't put together the damn car. I mean, I guess maybe she couldn't because it was an emotional tie to her dad.
Yeah.
But I was just like, wait, what? Like, it just kind of, her busting out in that suit, it just kind of didn't make sense to me. Like, how intelligent they're trying to make her. I'm like, okay, it seems like they're just like overdoing it. Like, I get it. She's smart. She put together the tracker, which I was on board with, all that stuff. But I don't know. Does that make sense?
What tracker?
So the vibranium tracker. Like, I was like, yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, we're good. She's a genius. But yeah, it just was a little too much. And I'm like, to me, it feels like it's just forcing so they can have some cool scenes.
I could see that.
If that makes sense. Yeah. But I feel like I always get called a hater. I'm like, not a hater. It's just, to me, I was like, oh, okay, we're flying in a suit now. Okay, she just happened to have an Iron Man suit. That's cool. I guess. Okay. And then the consistency of the strength of the people, not Namor, but his people as well.
Talachan. What are they? What are they called?
I'm not sure.
Talacon.
The
Talacon.
The Talacon people.
The Talacon.
Because some of them were really strong and some were really weak. I don't know. I was just like, wait, what? Like, once again, for the storyline, it was convenient for them to be strong when they needed to, when the Wakandans needed to be getting beat a little bit. But then when they were beating him up, they're all of a sudden kind of weak. So I was like, I don't know, you know. Like, it just seemed very all over the place. Like, it was here, then we're here, then we're here, then we're here. Then we're doing this. And it was like a lot of ideas. Like, this could have been maybe 2 movies. I don't know. Or maybe if we just need to, what's going on? Like, I was just a little confused. It was all over the place. And then we had the US thing going on, and I thought that was going to be a problem, but it wasn't. They just kind of arrested the guy and like, how dare you? Okay, so you told us something else is going on, but whatever. Well, you know, I guess we'll let the Wakandans have it today. Like, I was like, what? Are they not going to still investigate? Are they not going to say anything about Namor? Okay, Namor's still a secret, but like, how?
True.
That just confused me. I don't know. I was just, and then why did Namor have a Spanish accent? I am so sorry. Like, maybe I missed this, but to me, he's not Spanish. Spanish was the colonizer language. And maybe he didn't have a Spanish accent. Am I crazy? But I was just like, he sounds like he has a Spanish accent, but he's literally hating on the Spanish colonizers because of what they did. And I'm like, I get it. But I'm like, why does he have a Spanish accent? Unless it's not a Spanish accent. Maybe I'm mistaken. But that threw me off because I'm like, what? To me, the other characters didn't seem to have one, but he seemed to have one. Right. Which wouldn't be accurate for his character, no? Am I wrong?
Well, okay. The reason why I can see why he would have an accent because he's been there since day one kind of thing. Because
but his mom wasn't Spanish, and she literally was born in the water.
I don't know about the Spanish accent or anything. I can't say. But the reason why he has an accent and nobody else does is because he's ancient. Because he came from back then. So if, let's say, he did get a Spanish accent from back then because his mom is Spanish. Let's just say that.
She's not Spanish.
We'll just say that. So, but everybody ages the same except for him. So that's why he would still have an accent.
Have a different
and they would
accent.
Not. Yes.
Why is it Spanish? We don't know.
True.
Because I was like, maybe he grew up on Earth a little bit, but he didn't. He was born in the water, came up, buried his mom. They're like, this kid's crazy, and he went back in the water. So I was like, what? So that threw me off. But maybe I'm wrong on that.
I don't know.
But I didn't hate it. Like, it wasn't like I didn't like the movie. I think it's just okay. Like, I feel like Marvel has started to go in that direction, though, where things get a little bit extra. Like, even the Doctor Strange, it just seems very all over the place, and they're just trying to put a bunch of different ideas and cool scenes into, like, a story, and I'm just like, I'm not following. Like, I feel like the original ones were a little bit just simpler. Like, here's the story, here's the action. It's not as like trying to be complicated a little bit. And then kind of the last thing, and this isn't really this movie per se, but I'm kind of getting tired of feeling like I'm watching a video game. It's become so much CGI, so much, and I get it when you're dealing with this storyline, you're gonna have people that live in the ocean, but at some points it was just a video game. Like, it was not even like, I could tell it was just all CGI, and I was just like, it's just taking me out of it a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just like, there's like a lot of movies rely so heavily, like even the Thor movie that I watched, so much CGI, just everything is CGI.
Love and whatever. That one.
Don't get me started on that movie.
I didn't watch that one.
You know what I mean? It's to me. I know, especially Marvel fans. I have talked to people who love Marvel and everything comics, and they tear me up every time. I'm like, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm critical of every movie always. So I just feel like in general, it was okay. I think it did take me out a little bit because of some of the things they were doing, and I just couldn't feel like I could get into the movie. But it didn't make me not like it, if that makes sense. Even though it probably seems like I didn't like it.
Well, let's talk about a few things.
Okay.
Because one thing I actually did like that they like made the Black Panther, T'Challa's character, actually like pass away in the movie, and I liked how they like, because I didn't know what they're going to do, if they're going to address it as like, oh, he's just gone, like he never came back after he disappeared, I guess, or if it was going to be something else. But I like how they like incorporated an actual death for that character, and then I didn't even mind that Shuri was the next Black Panther. Like honestly, I'm not even like in, like we said, we're not into this kind of stuff, so I don't know how true this all is, but I think it makes the most logical sense for her to be the next Black Panther. So
I mean, yeah, she's next in line, so I'm all about it. And she embodies that like superhero power. I don't know, like I could see her doing it. It didn't seem to force to me. I think that was a good choice. Like I think in general the storyline, I think they did what they had to do. Like I think it was pretty good. And I do think the acting was really like, I think Shuri, she was having me in my feelings. She did really good.
It was too much.
It was a lot. It was really good. Like I would say the acting was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like I was there with pretty much all the characters. So I really appreciated the acting that they did, because I think that they did pretty well. I think sometimes it can get a little cheesy sometimes with Marvel movies, but I think in this one, like I believed every character, I think was doing what they needed to do, especially for those hard scenes. Oh, it was too much. I said, not the mom. She was just there. She was right there at the surface.
That's another thing I couldn't believe. I wasn't expecting for Queen Ramonda, Angela Bassett character, to die. Like that was why they do that? I was like, damn, all her family's dead. I
know, they really wanted her to feel that.
For real.
I was sad. I was already sad with y'all.
Yeah.
But I guess that was supposed to be her going over the edge.
Yeah.
Because now she has the fire passion against Namor. And then of course she has to I wanted her to kill him. I was like, girl, kill him.
Yeah, that's one thing I wasn't like, I guess I didn't see her like hesitating and stopping and not killing him or going through with it, because she was so angry the entire time. We had no hint that she had any kind of second thoughts, nothing.
I thought her mom came to her.
She did at the very end.
So I could see that.
But this whole time you had this whole anger with you. And I think what I would have liked a little bit better is if before they left to get on the boat and like to get the mermaids going, whenever her sister-in-law, I forgot her name. So Nakia asked her, who did you see when you were in the afterlife? And she still refused to say it. But if she would have been like, I saw Killmonger, I don't know what that means, like I feel like I'm gonna go crazy. If she would have opened up a little bit right there, then I could have seen her softening a little bit more, and it would have made it a little bit more realistic that she wouldn't have killed old boy. Because I feel like it was angry, saw mom, you're right mom, I won't kill him today.
I took it more as she's trying to force herself to stay mad. Like I thought she was trying not to feel anything. Like she's no, I didn't see anybody. Because even when she was talking to the other chief leader guy of the other, she was like, you're gonna help me kill him. Like I feel like she was trying to be angry. She's like, no, we just have to do it. Like we just have to go do it now. Because I was thinking if she had stopped to really process, she knew she maybe wouldn't do it. So that's how I took it.
Okay. I saw it a different way, because Killmonger was right. They were very similar. He was like, nah, it's for revenge, homie. And she said,
I was on board with revenge. You can't just let people come into your home like that
and kill your mom.
It's on sight. I'm sorry. Bye, no more. The world's ending. What's that got to do with me? I got mine. Y'all's turn.
It's crazy though, like how his whole proposition was being like, so we feel like we're getting threatened, so we got to kill.
That was weak to
everybody.
Me. And to kill
the whole storyline was
the
weird.
Girl, like they're like, hey, it's actually a young girl.
Yeah.
It's the government, the bigger government's kind of at play here. No, it's the girl. I'm like, wait, that didn't seem like a very smart, common sense move.
And then like not even having the compromise of like, we'll just keep her in Wakanda. She won't go home. Yeah, she won't go back.
No, we have to kill her. I'm like, she just made a vibranium.
Yeah.
Almost said something
that too.
She just made a vibranium tracker. Like to me it wasn't like, and maybe because he was so distrusting and had so much resentment against the colonizers. Maybe that's why. But to me, I'm like,
but this man had how many years to get over this?
He had how many years to attack?
Go to therapy.
All
fool.
the wars in the ocean. Where was this man at?
Right.
I don't know. Like, I just was very. It seems like y'all can fend for yourselves if y'all just make it kind of like the Bermuda. What? The
Bermuda Triangle.
Bermuda Triangle.
Ooh,
no one's gonna go.
Oh.
Like, they had it down. No one's defeating them in the water.
For
period.
real.
Like, I was. I even
For
thought.
real.
I said, "Damn, I thought the Wakandans are getting beat." Like, I was kind of mad. I'm like, they need to. But I guess it's because they're in the water. That's like their strongest.
Yep.
So I'm like, I don't. What's the threat? Let's be honest. All you gotta do
I
is
think there
sing.
should have been more of a threat. Like, I feel like there should have been like one survivor from that initial attack who would have been like, oh no, there's like people underwater.
And they were
because
really,
literally nobody knew about them.
they thought it was the Wakandans. Had he been quiet, it would have solved itself.
So that's why I'm like, I get that you want to make sure your people are safe, but like if you killed everybody, nobody knows you exist. I'm pretty sure you're still kind of safe. But then I guess it's that threat of like they're still going to be trying to find that vibranium, and they might know that it's there in that location, so they might come back and try to get it. So we will have to keep killing. So I kind of get it from that perspective, but it just seemed like very childlike, I guess, where he was like, "Listen, guys, we're going to attack the world, and you're either with us or against us." I'm like,
it was a lot. Yeah, I kind of didn't see how he got there, especially when, because to me, he seemed like a very rational guy. Like, you know, when he's talking to her, like, okay, he seems to have like his rationality here. But then when she was like, don't kill her, she didn't know. She's a young girl. I'm like, he couldn't, like, if you're going to make him just really angry, like, he just needs to stay angry. But him being like, oh, no, it's really for the greater good of the people. I'm like, so why are killing this one girl? They already have the plans to the tracker. Like, I'm assuming she sent them in. They got a copy. Yeah. Don't make another one. Like, I just was confused.
So killing her
is going to do what? Like, it just seemed like that needed to push the plot.
Yeah.
He has to kill her. So now there's problems. I'm like, I feel like y'all could have did that a little bit better. Because I'm like, this kind of doesn't make sense. Because you don't actually have to kill her. You could have just let her stay in Wakanda, or actually go for the U.S. or start going for the countries that are.
right.
Because they're going to keep doing it.
But that's what they didn't show either. They didn't show anybody continuing the search. So there wasn't an active threat of anybody knowing who these people were underwater.
Yeah, they just.
So that's why it never seemed like high stakes enough for me. I'm like, why are we pushing this agenda so much where you're like, we have to kill everybody on this planet?
I'm like, 'cause we got a war with land. I'm like, you're not going to.
But when you get on land, you're not going to like it
you're not
either.
going to win when you get on land. But that's why he needs the Wakandans. He said, they got to do our dirt. I'm like, so the Wakandans are supposed to kill everybody? Because one ship that y'all sank easily. Now if I could see that they were starting to get their ass beat and they're like, hey, yo,
we need some help,
that might make sense. But I'm like, y'all killed him so easily. Like, y'all could just really start some rumors and no one's gonna go there again. You know what I mean? Like, nobody knows what that is. We're not going out there.
Yep, exactly.
But yeah, and you got to reach higher than the college girl who was I don't know. To me, I'm like, clearly she's not the problem. So you're gonna kill her, and then what? Is it to send a signal? Maybe like send a
I don't know,
a message.
Yeah. Don't learn science.
But yeah, I was like,
that was the message. Don't be a scientist.
Yeah, it just, to me, I was like, it just seemed like a lot of things were there not to really give anything to the story, but they just had to push it along. Like, well, this is where we want to get, so we gotta just.
That's why I feel like this is more of a tribute for the loss of the Black Panther in both the movie and in real life, because the storyline was straight ass.
That's straight ass.
It was straight booty cheeks.
I liked Shuri. I'm sorry, Shuri. I keep saying it wrong. I like her storyline.
I think
the
grief thing is great, but like the rest of the story, the rest of the plot, where it's like, oh, we got to introduce Namor, and he's like having a plot, like that whole thing just all fell apart because like we didn't see an active threat on their privacy or their secrecy or their unknownness or whatever. So I was like, I'm not understanding why you're so like paranoid about people finding out who you are. Literally no one knows.
Well, maybe they thought because if they keep searching for vibranium in the ocean, they're going to find them.
Which I can see that. But we did not see any kind of active plans of that happening. The only plan or discussion we saw was them being like, well, we got to fuck up the Wakandans because they fucking us up.
They didn't even do anything. They're like, what? And they're like, you got to kill her because you guys made him want vibranium. Yeah. Or whatever. I was like, yeah, weak.
It really was.
It was a little bit weak for the motives. But
yeah. It just felt like everything was just a little off in this movie, I guess, with the action, with everything besides the grief. I think the grief was the best part. I think this was more of a drama than anything. Yeah.
And I was confused because his sword, like he had his weapon, he was cutting through their weapons. I was like, ain't they using oh my gosh, vibranium? Good God. I'm literally embarrassing. But he had his spear, or what his weapon was, Namor.
Oh, Namor.
And when he was cutting through their planes and everything, I was like, isn't he using vibranium, and aren't they using vibranium? I was so confused. I'm like, can vibranium cut vibranium? Like, it just seemed like it would just clash more than anything. But he was slicing through it like it was butter. So I'm like, is the vibranium in the ocean stronger? Because I just feel like it shouldn't be doing that much damage to all their stuff. All their stuff is literally vibranium. His stuff is vibranium.
Because they had to, I'm wondering if they had to like rebuild some of their stuff without vibranium because they ran out of it.
Happened. Did they run out?
Yeah, I forgot about this, but
bad.
Killmonger, like, he burned all the plants.
He burned the plant, but I didn't think that was the plant that did the Black Panther. But that wasn't a vibranium plant.
But isn't it vibranium?
No.
I don't know.
They're drinking metal, a metal plant.
Why do you think he's in pain?
Because it tastes nasty. It's a freaking
You think he's in pain?
I'm sorry, was vibranium flowing through his veins? I'm literally
That's probably
lost.
what it is. He's like, what's his name? Werewolf? No, Wolverine.
Oh, Lord. That was bad.
Werewolf? Yeah. Wolverine,
so.
because he has
They have something left over? They didn't have no vibranium materials?
I don't know if that's vibranium or not.
Y'all
it's a heart-shaped leaf.
Too bad. I wanted to see a little bit more even fight. Like, they kept getting their asses beat. I was like, this is not what I want. This is not what I want.
They had to. They were getting beat up emotionally and physically.
They were.
But yeah, I guess we could wrap it up. But before we wrap it up, that end scene with the little kid coming out.
That was the greatest. That honestly, that movie got at a point because I did not expect it. I like that.
I was heartbroken.
And then it made sense why she left, because she was like, I left, and I was like, weak.
I know. I was like, damn, not even for the funeral.
I was like, this is a little dramatic. And then of course that they have that. So I was like, you know what? I accept.
It was really
good,
sweet.
Marvel.
It was it caught me in my feels for real.
Or his little T'Challa.
Yes. It was too much. I lost it at that point. Whenever that little kid came out, I was like, oh,
he was
no.
so cute. Oh,
but yes,
so cute.
That was
the
good.
best 10 out of 10
for
that
real.
Actually.
Yeah, it was great. But I guess my rating, I'm gonna give it like a 2.75, almost a 3. That's me being kind of generous, because honestly it's more like a 2. But if I'm being generous, I'll give it like a 3. We'll say it, maybe a 3-ish. There we go. Because I feel bad saying that this wasn't a great movie. I feel like I'm getting pressured to say it was by the outside world.
I know that's Rotten Tomatoes. I was like 95.
That's what I'm like,
wild.
Really? What, did we watch the right
fans,
movie?
But also Marvel fans.
Sometimes I feel like I watch movies wrong. Like, I don't know how to go into these situations anymore, because I was excited to see this, but not that excited, because, I mean, I knew it was going to be sad, but I just don't know how to manage my expectations for movies anymore. I feel like I'm not watching them right.
I agree.
But yeah, I think my problems were just like the plot just was a little weak when it comes to like the next installment of the MCU and like the consequences that are going to arise after this. I'm kind of getting sick of them introducing like a villain and then kind of like defeating him or whatever in that whole movie. Then it's just kind of like, what was the point of us even having him? So I think that if we could have bumped that up to match the grief, it would have been a really good movie. But for the grief, I'll give it a 3. What do you give it?
I literally give it a 3 out of 5. I did like the overall general story. I liked how they brought in another culture. I think that it made the character more interesting and giving background. And it made sense. Like, you have two cultures who have been hiding from society. They're very ancient. They're very long standing, and it was cool to see them clash. Like, I was actually interested to see them battle, because I thought it was more interesting. It's different than what we've seen, so I will give it that. And I do think that they did a good job with kind of transitioning Black Panther to Shuri, who is now going to be the Black Panther. So I think overall I liked where it was going. I think it's just how they got there. There were things that seemed a little forced, stuff that just seemed kind of more for theatrics, and it just kind of took me out of it a little bit, and just some motives that didn't make sense. So it's kind of the whole storyline was there overall, just how we got there from me was lacking a little bit. So for that, I can't give it a 4 or a 5, because I think that there were some things that just didn't really make sense to me during the plot. But overall, it made me feel emotions. I was engaged. I was interested. I think it was a little long. It was 2 hours and 46 minutes, I think.
I didn't realize it was 3 hours long.
It was a 3-hour movie. It was a little long, because I realized, I'm like, we're still not at the final battle. We got another 50 minutes. But yeah, those are my overall thoughts. So I didn't think it was a bad movie. I just think maybe we're haters. I don't know.
I feel like after Endgame, they didn't really have a plan on what they wanted to do. So now they're just kind of
having characters do stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I can see that, because there's not, I don't think, going to be another type of that movie. Like, that's over. So there's
like
no
the
like
bigger
final battle
movies.
Like that. Yeah, I don't know. Like, no more Avengers.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. Somebody tell us what's going on, because I don't know.
I don't even think they
I'm
know
not
what's
gonna
going
look
on.
So y'all let us know.
For real. But yes, if you like things that
Are 3 out of 5.
right, then you can check out our Instagram at Haley and Kaylee. We also have a TikTok at Press Podcast where we have some stuff up there. And we have a website at presspodcast.com where you can check out some stuff there too. What else do we have?
We have a YouTube channel if you're watching now, so you can see our wonderful, beautiful faces at Haley and Kaylee, and check out some of our other reviews and other videos that we do. You can email us at presspodcast@gmail.com. You can send us what you thought about this movie, if we were right, if we were wrong, or any other movies you'd like us to review.
But yes, let us know what you thought about this movie down below. Is this what you... I don't even know what to ask, so I'm just not going to.
Did you like it? Or are
That's
you a
about
Marvel
it.
fan? Because that kind of is biased
Oh.
a little bit. You don't count. If you're a Marvel fan, you don't get an opinion about these movies. I am sorry. I'm tired of y'all.
Damn, they tired of us. But until
Honestly.
next time.
And I thought he had fish on his feet. I thought those were like their feathers because he flies. I legitimately thought he had little minnows on his feet. I was going to die laughing. I was like, there's no way that he has fish on his feet.
Yeah.
They were feathers. That was my bad.